The deep blue water turned to black as the research vessel Mugunghwa descended into the deepest part of Earth's oceans. Captain Taeho watched the depth gauge climb higher and higher. 8,000 meters, 9,000 meters, 10,000 meters down into the Mariana Trench. All systems running smooth, called out Wu Jin from his engineering station. The young man's fingers moved quickly across the control panels. Green lights blinked steadily on his screens. Hull pressure is holding strong. We can go deeper. So Young pressed her face against the small round window. The marine biologist had dreamed of this moment for years. Outside, the water was completely dark except for the bright beams from their submarine's lights. "Look at that," she whispered. "We're deeper than any human has ever gone before." Hana sat at her communication desk, keeping contact with the surface world 11,000 meters above them. Static filled her headphones, but the signal was still clear. "Surface control, this is Mugunghwa. We are now at 10,500 meters depth. All crew members are healthy and safe." The voice from far above crackled through the speakers. "Copy that, Mugunghwa. You are making history down there. How does it feel to be the deepest humans on Earth?" Kyung-soo looked up from his geological equipment. The older scientist had gray hair and kind eyes behind thick glasses. "It feels like we're visitors in an alien world," he said into his microphone. "The pressure down here could crush a normal submarine like an empty can." Captain Taeho smiled at his crew. These 4 scientists were the best Korea had to offer. So Young knew more about deep sea life than anyone alive. Wu Jin could fix any machine ever built. Hana could talk to people on the other side of the world through miles of ocean water. Kyung-soo understood rocks and earth better than most people understood their own families. "Another 500 meters, Taeho announced. "Then we start our real work." The Mugunghwa continued its slow journey into the abyss. Outside the thick windows, strange creatures floated past in the submarine's lights. Jellyfish with bodies like glass. Fish with huge eyes and sharp teeth. Things that looked more like aliens than Earth animals. 11,000 meters, Wu Jin called out. "We've reached the bottom of the trench." So Young gasped as their lights hit the ocean floor. Instead of the flat, muddy bottom she expected, she saw hills and valleys. Strange rock formations rose up like underwater mountains. "This doesn't look like the map showed us." Kyung-soo activated his scanning equipment. Beeps and clicks filled the cabin as his machine studied the sea floor. "The geology down here is very unusual. These rock formations are too regular, too organized." Taeho guided the submarine closer to one of the strange formations. As their lights hit it, they could see it was not natural rock. Smooth surfaces reflected their beams. Straight lines and perfect angles cut through the structure. "That's not natural," Hana said, her voice full of wonder and fear. So Young grabbed her camera and started taking pictures through the window. "It looks artificial, but who could build something down here? No human technology could survive at this depth." The structure was huge. As they moved along its side, it seemed to go on forever. The surface was covered in geometric patterns that repeated in complex designs. Some areas glowed with a faint blue light that had nothing to do with their submarine's beams. "I'm detecting energy signatures," Kyung-soo said, staring at his instruments. "Very faint, but definitely there. Something inside that structure is powered." Wu Jin checked his own readings. "Confirmed. There's some kind of technology operating inside. The energy patterns are unlike anything I've seen before." Captain Taeho made a decision. "We need to investigate this. Hana, send a message to the surface. Tell them we've found something extraordinary." As Hana worked on her communication equipment, the others continued studying the mysterious structure. It stretched out in both directions, disappearing into the darkness beyond their lights. The geometric patterns seemed to shift and change when they weren't looking directly at them. "Surface control, this is Mugunghwa." Hana spoke into her microphone. "We have discovered what appears to be an artificial structure on the ocean floor. The construction is definitely not human. We are beginning detailed investigation." The response from above was immediate. "Repeat that, Mugunghwa. Did you say non-human construction?" "Confirmed, surface control. We are looking at technology that no human civilization could have built. The structure is massive and appears to be partially active. So Young noticed something moving in the distance. Other structures similar to the first one dotted the trench floor as far as their lights could reach. There are more of them. This isn't just one building, it's like an entire city down here. Suddenly, the submarine shook violently. Emergency. Alarms began blaring throughout the cabin. Red lights flashed on every panel. Seismic activity, Kyung-soo shouted over the noise. Major earthquake starting right beneath us. The ocean floor began to crack and shift. Huge chunks of rock broke away from the trench walls high above them. Tae-ho fought to control the submarine as water currents threw them back and forth. Need to surface immediately, he called out. This whole area is unstable. Woo-jin worked frantically at his controls. Engine power is fluctuating. The earthquake is affecting our electrical systems. A sound like thunder echoed through the water around them. Looking up through the top window, they could see massive boulders falling from the trench walls. The rocks were as big as buildings, tumbling down toward them through the dark water. Hana, emergency transmission now. Tae-ho ordered. Tell surface control we are in immediate danger. Surface control, surface control. This is Mugunghwa. We have a major emergency. Underwater, earthquake has destabilized the trench. Large rockfall in progress. We are attempting immediate ascent. The response was filled with static and worry. Mugunghwa, we copy your emergency. Rescue vessels are being prepared. Can you reach safe depth? Before Hana could answer, a boulder the size of a house crashed into the water directly above them. The impact sent shockwaves through their submarine. More rocks followed, creating an avalanche of stone falling through the ocean. The exit route is blocked, Kyung-soo said, his voice quiet with shock. Those rocks are sealing off the trench opening above us. Tae-ho tried to pilot the submarine upward, but everywhere he looked, falling boulders blocked their path. The Mugunghwa was trapped at the bottom of the deepest ocean trench on Earth, surrounded by mysterious alien structures and cut off from the surface world. Hull integrity holding, Woo-jin reported. But we've lost main engine power. Emergency systems, only. So Young looked out at the alien structures which seemed unaffected by the earthquake. Their blue glow had grown brighter, as if responding to the disaster happening around them. Surface control. Hana spoke into her microphone with forced calm. The Mugunghwa is trapped beneath rockfall at maximum depth. We are unable to ascend. Please advise. The silence from above stretched for long seconds before the reply came. Mugunghwa. No rescue vehicle can reach your depth. We are working on solutions. Maintain your position and preserve life support systems. The 5 crew members looked at each other in the red glow of the emergency lights. They were 11,000 meters below the surface, trapped with technology beyond human understanding, and no way home. The emergency lights cast everything in deep red as the crew of the Mugunghwa tried to understand their situation. Captain Tae-ho checked the damage reports while his team worked at their stations. Outside the thick windows, the alien structures glowed brighter than before. Oxygen levels are dropping slowly, Woo-jin reported from his engineering panel. His young face looked worried in the red light. At current rate, we have maybe 18 hours of breathable air. So Young pressed her hands against the cold window, staring at the mysterious buildings outside. The structures are reacting to us somehow. Look at the patterns on their walls. The geometric designs on the nearest structure were changing. Lines of blue light moved across the surface like living things. The patterns shifted from simple shapes to more complex forms, almost like they were trying to communicate something. Kyung-soo adjusted his geological equipment to study the light patterns. The energy readings are increasing. Whatever powers these structures is becoming more active. Hana worked at her communication station, trying to maintain contact with the surface. Static filled her headphones, but she could still hear voices from the world far above. Surface control is organizing rescue attempts, but no submarine can reach us at this depth. How long until they can get to us? Tae-ho asked. They're saying at least 48 hours to design and build equipment that might work. Maybe longer. Hana's voice was quiet. Everyone understood what that meant. Their air would run out long before help could arrive. Wu Jin opened a wall panel and began checking the life support systems by hand. I can stretch our oxygen supply by reducing power to non-essential systems. That might buy us a few more hours. As he worked, the submarine's lights dimmed to save power. In the darker cabin, the alien glow from outside became more visible. The structures were definitely communicating with each other now. Pulses of light traveled between buildings like messages being sent back and forth. "It's beautiful," So Young whispered, watching the light show outside. Like watching a conversation between giants. Suddenly, bright flashes began coming from the structure directly in front of them. The lights pulsed in a steady rhythm. Flash, flash, pause. Flash, 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 pause. Flash, pause, pause. Hana looked up from her radio equipment. That's not random. There's a pattern to those flashes. Kyung-soo counted the pulses and wrote them down on paper. 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. Those are Fibonacci numbers. Mathematical sequence. The flashing continued, showing different number patterns. Prime numbers, square roots. Basic mathematical concepts that any intelligent species would understand. "They're trying to talk to us," So Young said with amazement. "These structures aren't just buildings. Something intelligent lives inside them." Taeho made a decision that would change everything. "Hana, can you send light signals back to them? Use our external floods to flash responses." Hana switched to the submarine's outside lighting controls. She began flashing their lights in the same mathematical patterns the aliens had shown them. The response was immediate. The alien structure's lights became brighter and more complex. "It's working," Kyung-soo said, writing down the new patterns. "They're showing us more advanced mathematics now. Calculus, physics equations." The conversation continued for almost an hour. Simple math became complex science. The aliens showed them atomic structures and wave equations. Hana and her crew responded with what little they could manage using their submarine's lights. Then the patterns changed completely. Instead of mathematics, the lights began showing images. Pictures formed in the blue glow on the structure's walls. The first image was simple, a round shape that looked like a planet. "Earth," So Young breathed. "They're showing us Earth." More images followed. The planet's surface changing over millions of years. Continents moving. Oceans forming. Life beginning in the water and slowly moving to land. The aliens had been watching Earth's entire history. Wu Jin stopped his repair work to watch the incredible display. How long have they been down here? The next images answered his question. The aliens showed their own history. Ancient beings who had come to Earth when the planet was young. They had built cities in the deepest parts of the ocean, far from the surface world. They had watched as life evolved above them. "They're lonely," Hana said softly. "Look at those images. They've been alone down here for so long, just watching other species grow and disappear." The pictures showed many different civilizations that had risen and fallen on Earth's surface. Some the humans recognized from their own history books. Others were completely unknown. Intelligent species that had lived and died long before humans existed. Kyung-soo studied the geological data in the images. According to this, they've been here for over 60 million years. They watched the dinosaurs. They saw the ice ages. They've seen everything. The alien presentation continued, showing their technology and knowledge. Medicine that could cure any disease. Energy sources that could power entire continents. Ways to travel between stars. The depths of their wisdom were beyond human understanding, but the final images were sad. The aliens showed their civilization slowly dying. Their numbers growing smaller over the millions of years. Their great machines breaking down with age. Soon they would be completely alone in the dark depths of Earth's oceans. That's why they're talking to us, So Young realized. We might be the last intelligent species they ever meet. The light show ended, and the aliens waited for a response. The crew of the Mugunghwa looked at each other in the dim red light of their dying submarine. What do we say to beings who have watched our entire planet grow up? Taeho wondered aloud. Hana began flashing their lights again, but this time she sent something different. Not mathematics or science, but simple human concepts: love, family, hope, friendship. The basic emotions that made humans who they were. The response from the aliens was immediate and powerful. Light erupted from every structure visible in the darkness. The patterns were more complex and beautiful than anything they had shown before. "I think they understand," Hana said, tears in her eyes. "They remember what it was like to feel those things." Wu Jin checked his instruments again. Oxygen down to 14 hours. Hull pressure is holding, but we're getting small leaks in 3 different places. Outside, the alien structures were doing something new. Machines that had been hidden in the trench walls began to activate. Ancient metal arms unfolded from the rock. Lights appeared in places that had been dark for millions of years. "They're preparing something," Kyung-soo observed. "All the energy readings are spiking." So Young watched the activity with growing hope. Maybe they want to help us. Maybe they don't want to be alone anymore either. The crew of the Mugunghwa waited in their damaged submarine, surrounded by the awakening technology of an ancient civilization, wondering if they had just become humanity's first ambassadors to another species. The ancient machines around them hummed with power as Captain Taeho gathered his crew for an emergency meeting. Oxygen levels had dropped to 12 hours. Water was slowly seeping through 3 small cracks in the hull. The situation looked hopeless. "We could try to blast through the rockfall above us," Wu Jin suggested, pointing to his engineering diagrams. "Our fusion reactor has enough power for one big explosion, but it would use all our remaining energy." Kyung-soo shook his head. "Even if we clear some rocks, there are tons more waiting to fall. We might just bring down more debris on ourselves." So Young watched the alien structures through the window. The ancient beings had been quiet since their last communication, but their machines continued working. "Maybe we should ask them for help. They have technology we can't imagine." "But why would they save us?" Hana asked. "They've watched countless species die over millions of years. What makes humans special?" Taeho stood up in the cramped cabin. "Maybe that's the wrong question. Maybe we should ask what we can give them." The crew looked at their captain with confusion. They were trapped at the bottom of the ocean with failing life support. What could they possibly offer to beings with technology beyond human understanding? "Think about it," Taeho continued. "They showed us they're lonely. They're dying out after millions of years. What if we offer them something no other species has given them before?" "What could that be?" Wu Jin asked. "Partnership. Real cooperation between 2 intelligent species." So Young understood first. "You mean share our knowledge with them, just like they shared theirs with us? Not asking for rescue, but offering to work together." "Exactly. Every other species they've watched has probably just taken what they needed and disappeared. What if we're different?" Hana turned to her communication equipment. "I can try to send them that message. Show them we want to give, not just receive." As she prepared the light signals, Wu Jin made a discovery that changed everything. "Look at this. While we've been talking to them, their energy patterns have been subtly interacting with our ship's systems." He pointed to his screens, which showed impossible readings. "Our fusion reactor is running more efficiently than it ever has before. Power consumption is down 20%. They're already helping us without even being asked." Kyung-soo checked his geological scanners. "The water pressure readings are wrong too. According to these instruments, the pressure outside our hull has decreased significantly. That should be impossible at this depth." So Young pressed her face to the window and gasped. "Look outside, really look." The others joined her at the windows. The alien structures weren't just glowing anymore. They were projecting some kind of energy field around the Mugunghwa. The water itself seemed different, less dense, almost like they were sitting in air instead of the crushing depths of the ocean. "They're protecting us," Taeho realized. "Buying us time." Hana began sending light signals to the nearest structure. But instead of asking for rescue, she transmitted something else entirely. She showed them human history. Not the wars and destruction, but the cooperation. People working together to build cities, explore space, cure diseases, and help each other survive. The response was immediate. The alien structures began showing new images. technical diagrams that looked like a fusion of human and alien technology. Blueprints for machines that combined Earth engineering with their ancient knowledge. "They want to teach us," Wu Jin said with growing excitement. "Look at these designs, our fusion reactor combined with their energy systems, our communication equipment enhanced with their technology." But there was a catch. The diagrams showed that building these hybrid machines would require resources they didn't have trapped at the bottom of the ocean. They needed materials from the surface world. "It's a test," Kyung-soo realized. "They're showing us what's possible, but we have to figure out how to make it work with what we have." Tae-ho looked around the cabin at his crew. "Then let's show them what humans do best. We improvise." The next 6 hours became a frantic workshop session. Wu Jin tore apart non-essential systems to rebuild their fusion reactor according to the alien blueprints. So Young used her biological knowledge to understand how the aliens' organic technology could work with human machines. Hana maintained constant communication with both the surface and the aliens. Kyung-soo analyzed the geological situation to find the best escape route. The alien beings watched everything they did. More structures around the trench began activating, adding their processing power to help solve the engineering problems. It became a true collaboration between species. "Think I understand now?" So Young said as she worked on a biomechanical interface. "They're not just testing our technical skills. They want to see if we can adapt their technology without losing what makes us human." As they worked, the aliens shared more knowledge, medical techniques that could extend human lifespans by centuries, energy sources that could end poverty on Earth, transportation methods that could take humans to other star systems. But they also shared warnings, images of other species that had received similar gifts and used them to destroy themselves. The aliens had learned to be careful about who they trusted with such powerful knowledge. "We have to prove we're different," Hana said as she incorporated alien communication methods into their radio systems. "We have to show them humans can handle this responsibility." The breakthrough came when Wu Jin successfully merged their fusion reactor with alien energy patterns. The ship's power levels jumped to 3 times normal capacity. More importantly, the hybrid system began producing a new type of energy that could interact directly with the alien machines. "The reactor is stable," Wu Jin reported with amazement. "More than stable. It's producing power in ways that shouldn't be possible according to human physics." Tae-ho made the decision that would define humanity's future. Instead of using their new power source to simply escape, he proposed something unprecedented. "Hana, send this message to the surface and to our alien friends. Tell them we're not just survivors anymore. We're representatives of a species ready to join something bigger." As Hana prepared the transmission, the alien structures around them began to change. Ancient barriers that had hidden deeper levels started opening. Technology that had been dormant for millions of years came online. "They're showing us their real capabilities," Kyung-soo whispered. "Everything we've seen so far was just the beginning." The Bai crew of the Mugunghwa looked at each other with a mixture of excitement and responsibility. They had become more than explorers trapped in the deep. They had become humanity's first ambassadors to an alien civilization, and their real adventure was just beginning. The moment Captain Tae-ho finished his transmission to both the surface and the aliens, everything changed. The ancient structures around them erupted with light and activity. Machines that had slept for millions of years awakened with purpose. "Energy readings are off the charts," Kyung-soo reported, his instruments barely able to measure what was happening around them. "The entire trench floor is activating." So Young pressed against the window and watched in amazement as the ocean floor transformed before their eyes. Hidden panels slid open in the rock walls. Massive mechanical arms unfolded from spaces that had looked like natural stone. Ancient technology revealed itself everywhere they looked. "They're mobilizing their entire civilization," she whispered. All of this was hidden until now. The alien beings began sending new messages through their light communication system. Hana worked frantically to translate the complex patterns into something the crew could understand. "They're saying this is the first time in over 1,000,000 years that they've activated their full rescue systems," Hana announced. "No species has ever earned this level of response from them before." Wu Jin monitored their hybrid reactor as alien energy began flowing into their submarine. Our power systems are integrating perfectly with theirs. It's like our technology was designed to work together. The water around the Mugunghwa began to shimmer and change. A bubble of strange energy formed around their submarine, growing larger and stronger by the minute. The crushing pressure of the deep ocean was being held back by alien science. Hull pressure is dropping to surface levels, Wu Jin reported with disbelief. Inside this energy field, it's like we're floating in shallow water instead of 11,000 meters down. Captain Tejo felt the submarine begin to move, but not under its own power. The energy bubble was lifting them gently away from the ocean floor. Through the windows, they could see the alien city growing smaller below them as they rose. "We're ascending," he announced to his crew. "They're bringing us to the surface." But this was no ordinary rescue. As they rose through the water column, the aliens began sharing something incredible with the human crew. Visions filled their minds. Not images on screens, but direct mental communication showing the history of their ancient civilization. So Young saw the aliens' earliest days when they were young and curious like humans. They had explored countless worlds throughout the galaxy, always seeking new knowledge and friendship. But over millions of years, they had watched species after species make the same mistakes. "They're showing me civilizations that destroyed themselves with war," she said softly. "Others that became so focused on technology that they forgot how to care for each other." Hana experienced visions of the aliens' greatest achievements. Cities that spanned entire ocean floors on distant worlds, art and music that could touch the soul of any living being, scientific discoveries that revealed the deepest secrets of the universe. "But they also show me their loneliness," she said. "How painful it was to watch every species they tried to help eventually disappear or turn away from them." Kyung-soo saw the geological history of 1,000 worlds. How the aliens had learned to build their cities in the deep places, away from the surface conflicts that destroyed so many species. They had become guardians of knowledge, preserving the best ideas of each civilization they encountered. "They've been collecting wisdom for millions of years," he realized. Every good idea, every noble thought, every beautiful creation from thousands of different species. Wu Jin experienced their technology directly. His mind was filled with understanding of energy systems that could power entire planets without pollution, transportation methods that could cross the galaxy in days, medical knowledge that could heal any injury or disease. The technology they're sharing with us could solve every problem humanity has ever faced, he said with tears in his eyes. "But they're also showing me why they've been so careful about sharing it." The vision showed species that had received similar gifts and used them for conquest instead of cooperation. Civilizations that had turned the aliens' peaceful technology into weapons of war. Beings who had taken the knowledge and then tried to destroy their teachers. As the Mugunghwa continued its journey toward the surface, the crew began to understand the true weight of what was happening. They weren't just being rescued, they were being trusted with the accumulated wisdom of an entire galactic civilization. "They're making us their successors," Tejo realized. "Humanity is being chosen to carry on their work." The energy bubble around their submarine began to change. It wasn't just protecting them anymore. It was transforming their ship into something new. The hull grew stronger and more flexible. Their simple research submarine was becoming a vessel capable of surviving in any environment. "The ship's systems are evolving," Wu Jin reported. "Our technology is merging with theirs at the molecular level. We're not just riding in the Mugunghwa anymore. We are the Mugunghwa." As they rose through the middle depths of the ocean, they began to encounter other forms of life. Strange creatures that lived in the dark waters between the surface and the abyss. But now, with their enhanced senses, the crew could understand these creatures in new ways. They're all connected, So Young realized. Every living thing in the ocean is part of a vast communication network. The aliens didn't just live down there alone. They were part of an entire ecosystem of intelligence. Hana established contact with the surface world, but her communications equipment had been transformed by alien technology. She could now send messages that traveled instantly across any distance. The surface rescue teams were shocked to hear from them. "Surface control, this is Mugunghwa. We are ascending under alien assistance. Our situation has changed completely. Prepare for extraordinary contact. The voice from above was filled with confusion and excitement. Mugunghua, please repeat. Did you say alien assistance? Confirmed. Surface control. We are returning not as survivors, but as ambassadors. Humanity is about to join something much larger than we ever imagined. As they approached the upper layers of the ocean, sunlight began to filter down through the water. The crew had been in total darkness for so long that even the faint glow from above seemed brilliant. 6,000 meters, Kyungsu announced. We're more than halfway to the surface. But they were not the same people who had descended into the trench 3 days earlier. Each crew member had been changed by their contact with the ancient aliens. They carried knowledge that could transform human civilization. More importantly, they carried the responsibility to use that knowledge wisely. Are we ready for this? Taeho asked his crew. Are we ready to represent all of humanity to the galaxy? Each of them nodded. They had been chosen not because they were perfect, but because they had shown the qualities the aliens valued most. Curiosity instead of fear, cooperation instead of competition, hope instead of despair. The Mugunghwa continued its ascent, carrying 5 humans who would soon change the course of their entire species. The first rays of actual sunlight touched the windows of the Mugunghwa as it broke through the surface of the Pacific Ocean. Captain Taeho and his crew had not seen real light for 3 days, and the brightness felt like a miracle after so long in the crushing darkness of the deep. Surface contact achieved, Hana announced, but her voice carried a strange quality now. The alien technology had enhanced her communication abilities beyond anything human science had achieved. We are receiving signals from 17 different nations. Everyone wants to know what happened to us. Around them, the ocean stretched endlessly in all directions. But they were not alone. Ships from multiple countries surrounded the area where they had surfaced. News helicopters circled overhead. The whole world had been watching and waiting for any sign of the lost submarine. Look at our hull, So-young said, pressing her face to the window. The outside of their submarine was no longer the simple metal research vessel that had descended 3 days ago. The surface now showed the same geometric patterns they had seen on the alien structures. The hull gleamed with an inner light that had nothing to do with the sun above. Woo-jin checked his instruments and shook his head in amazement. Our power systems are running at 500% of original capacity. The reactor isn't just hybrid anymore. It's completely transformed into something that shouldn't be possible. The first rescue ship to reach them was a Korean naval vessel. As it approached, the crew could see people on deck pointing and taking pictures. Their submarine looked nothing like the vessel that had disappeared into the trench. Mugunghwa, this is Admiral Park on the rescue vessel Sejong. Can you confirm your status and crew condition? Taeho took the communication device, but when he spoke, his words reached not just the Admiral but every ship and aircraft in the area. The alien technology had amplified their communications beyond normal radio frequencies. Admiral Park, this is Captain Taeho. All 5 crew members are alive and healthy, but we must inform you that our mission has discovered something that will change everything humanity knows about our planet and our place in the universe. The silence that followed stretched for long seconds. Finally, Admiral Park responded. Captain, please clarify. What kind of discovery? We have made contact with an intelligent alien civilization that has been living in Earth's oceans for over 60 million years. They have chosen to reveal themselves to humanity through us. The radio channels erupted with excited chatter from ships and aircraft around them. Hana worked to filter the communications as dozens of voices tried to speak at once. Captain Taeho, came a new voice, this one from an American research vessel. This is Dr. Martinez from the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution. Can you provide any evidence of these claims? Taeho looked at his crew and smiled. Dr. Martinez, we are the evidence. At Woo-jin's controls, the Mugunghwa began to demonstrate capabilities no human submarine had ever possessed. It rose completely out of the water, hovering 10 meters above the ocean surface. The geometric patterns on its hull glowed brighter, creating a light show that was visible for miles. "This is impossible," Admiral Park's voice crackled over the radio. "No human technology can make a submarine fly." "You're correct, Admiral," Tejo replied. "This is not human technology. This is the result of cooperation between our species and the ancient beings who have been guardians of Earth's oceans since long before humans existed." So Young activated the external cameras and began broadcasting images from their descent into the trench. The alien city appeared on screens throughout the rescue fleet. The massive structures, the light communications, the evidence of a civilization beyond human imagination. "These beings have watched every species that has ever lived on Earth," she explained over the radio. "They have preserved the knowledge and wisdom of countless civilizations, and now they have chosen to share that knowledge with humanity." The sea response from the surface world was immediate and overwhelming. Government officials demanded immediate conferences. Scientists begged for data. Military leaders wanted to know about potential threats. Religious leaders asked about the implications for human beliefs. Kyung-soo transmitted the geological data, showing how the aliens had shaped Earth's ocean floors over millions of years. "They haven't just been observers," he explained. "They've been caretakers, preventing natural disasters and protecting the development of life on our planet." As the hours passed, more ships arrived from around the world. The area around the Mugunghwa became an impromptu international gathering. Representatives from every major nation wanted to be present for humanity's first contact with an alien species. Hana established direct communication links with the alien city far below. The ancient beings began transmitting directly to the surface world, their mathematical language appearing on screens throughout the rescue fleet. "They're offering to teach us," Hana translated, "medical knowledge that could eliminate most diseases, energy systems that could end pollution and poverty, transportation technology that could take us to other star systems." But the aliens also transmitted warnings, images of other species that had received similar gifts and used them for destruction. The conditions for receiving this knowledge were clear. Humanity must prove it could use the gifts wisely. "They want us to establish a permanent research station at the bottom of the Mariana Trench," Tejo announced, "a place where humans and aliens can work together. They're offering to teach us, but only if we commit to using their knowledge for the benefit of all humanity." The debate that followed lasted for hours. Representatives from different nations argued over who would control the alien technology. Some wanted to keep the knowledge secret. Others demanded it be shared freely with all countries. Wu Jin ended the argument by making a simple demonstration. Using the alien-enhanced reactor, he transmitted clean energy wirelessly to every ship. In the rescue fleet, engines that had been running on fossil fuels suddenly switched to pollution-free power. "This is what they're offering," he said. "Technology that can solve our biggest problems, but only if we work together instead of fighting over who gets to control it." The final decision came from an unexpected source. The aliens themselves sent a message directly to every communication device on Earth. Their words appeared simultaneously on every screen, in every language, reaching every human being on the planet. "Humanity has shown us qualities we have not seen in millions of years: curiosity over fear, cooperation over competition, hope over despair. We offer you partnership in a community of species that spans the galaxy. The choice is yours." 6 months later, Admiral Tejo stood on the command deck of the first human-alien research station on the ocean floor. The facility was a marvel of combined technology, allowing humans to live and work at depths that had once been impossible to reach. Dr. So Young led teams of scientists from every nation on Earth, studying alien biology and sharing human knowledge in return. Engineer Wu Jin supervised the construction of hybrid technology that was already transforming life on the surface. Communications specialist Hana had become humanity's first xenolinguist, developing protocols for speaking with dozens of alien species throughout the galaxy. Geologist Kyung-soo had discovered that Earth's oceans connected to a vast network of underwater civilizations on planets throughout the galaxy. Humanity had not just met one alien species, but had been invited to join an entire community of worlds. The last transmission from a sunken vessel had become the first message from a species ready to explore the universe. Humanity was no longer alone, and the future stretched out before them like an endless ocean of possibilities.